Today, we have a Chevy 2500. We are going to be doing all of these sides and the rear. We're going to make it pretty dark. We're doing 5 over the factory on the back, and then we're doing 15 over the front doors. Just realized that I forgot one last step because it's been a minute. Delete forever. Yep. Good. Good stuff. Way to psych everybody out with a different video. So how you been? Oh, you know. Oh, you know. Things haven't been crazy busy lately. As far as window tint jobs go. Other things have been busy. But it's been a minute. I've had some other work to do. So Saturday, I had a couple of jobs that I had to do. They were fixing jobs, but it was kind of weird. One was a real echo. Is there? That... Is that normal? I had training a few days ago, paid $800 for the day. I learned a lot of trainer seemed disconnected, would catch him on his phone a lot, would leave me alone a good amount of the time. Is that normal? Yeah, from a bad trainer. See, that's the thing. Not all classes are created equal, but $800 for the day, that's a good amount. You want them to be, see, that's why you're paying, is for their attention. That's no good though. Where'd you take a class? You need like a healthy amount of time to like practice, but you also need like pretty focused guidance through the whole thing too. You know, like step away and then you can kind of like settle in and practice a couple things, but not like that. I think income tax time going to be a little different. Yeah, we'll see here. It might be lighter. That's the thing. Last year, I mean, I don't think anybody expected it to be as busy as it was. Or what is that, 2020 now? I'll get to that in a sec. So 2020, during the shutdown, like I didn't know what to expect. I honestly thought it could go, it would be really light when everything kind of came back and slowly getting back into things. The next thing you know, tint shops were booked out for a solid month plus. Like, it was ridiculous. And now even with these shortages, like the way that they're going, just people are paying more and more for everything. They're willing to wait longer and longer, and then when something is available, it gets scooped up super quick. We're just seeing shortages across everything right now. So I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like when things start getting warmed up. I mean, there's less cars that are being bought because they just can't, but who knows? Who knows for sure? I don't know. He was good, don't get me wrong, learned a lot, but I felt like I could have just watched the video instead. Yeah, you never want to, see, the thing is, when you attend any type of training or class or whatever, you never want to feel like it wasn't worth going to. That's the problem. It's just the general vibe of it. So, yeah, that's no good. $100,000. Oh, yeah. About that. That happened. I was super geeked. I was watching this. But it's been a slow climb. It's been a slow climb, but we got there. So, look, we did it. We're at 100,000. Yay. Oh, I got to get my plaque. I got to send you, I don't know. There's something I got to find and fill out. And then once I do that, they'll get my plaque going. That's pretty cool, though. Thank you. Thank you guys very much for subbing, for supporting. I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you guys actually helping out. So it's a big deal. I didn't have anything planned for it. I always see those videos that pop up like, we hit 100,000. It's like, do people, I don't know. Do most of them really care? I don't know. But I appreciate it. The creators care, but I don't know if the viewers do. They just want to see more stuff. What tip do you have on your sprayer? I get this question so much now. I have 2 fan tips, but I want to switch something out for... I want to switch one of them out for a cone tip again. Is everything okay? Yeah, things are good. Just things have been kind of rocky as far as jobs go right now. So I actually have a lot more booked up now this week. It all just you'll find that a lot in a tint shop. You'll have a busy week, and then you have the next week where there'll just be nothing, and there's no real rhyme or reason to it. It'll gradually get better and better as you go. But yeah, this past week I didn't really have a lot. I had like a handful of like smaller jobs and stuff. And then I had a bunch of other stuff that I was able to get done too. But this week, I mean, we've got this one lined up. We got another one lined up for tomorrow. We got another one lined up for Thursday. We got another one lined up for Friday. So we're cooking now, at least for this week. We'll see about next week. But it would all happen really quick. That's how this goes. There'll be nobody, and then everybody will want it all at the same time. I also had to look around the shop just to get tools. I didn't have anything designated to me like you were doing. Wish I lived near you. To look around the shop just to get tools. Wait, what? Oh, when you attended the class, where did you go? What is this? So you just had to like, you go to attend a class somewhere, and you show up, and they just kind of like leave you to, yeah, go find some stuff. I don't know. There's some things around here. Like, what the fuck is that? That's so annoying. Nice job on the waiting room. Thank you. Finally got that done. That was all me and my wife. We didn't know anything about doing that. Turns out it's not all that difficult. There's some shoddy work, don't get me wrong. Like, as far as the spacing on the floors. It's very much a skill. It's patience, too. But it didn't take much. We painted, we changed out the lights, and we did the floor. Those 3 things will completely revamp your entire room. Same furniture, same everything else. We just put some white paint on the wall, and then the hexagon things that is like an accent piece that just like, it looks really, really good. You don't want to know. I think you know each other. He's well known and very disappointed. Promote his class a lot, so I expected much more. Tinstitute. Ooh, that's a bummer. That's definitely a bummer. Well, no, see, I like to know because recommendations. I don't want to send people to places that aren't worth it, so I'm sorry that you had to learn the hard way, but yeah, that's no good. Thanks for the autograph tri-edge. You're welcome. I've been trying to get those to people that really want them, and I never know who does exactly. So on some round of orders, I've just been dropping them in for a lot of people. So if you didn't get one, you ordered a tri-edge and you didn't get an autographed one and you want one, just let me know. Just reply to the email, the order email, and I'll send you one out. Managed to get a handful extra ones out there. It's just something I'm not used to doing. But it was like one of the few things. I'm really, really proud of that tool. It's got like the Detroit Tint Studio printing on it, which is awesome. And it's one of those really, really cool collabs that I didn't see coming. And it seemed appropriate on them. So, for the people that really want them, I think it's cool. It's a cool thing to do. I'm thinking about going to a junkyard and getting a Beretta rear window to mess with, to hang out somewhere as a decoration. A Beretta. That is one annoying back window for sure. I'd want to break it. Yeah, it's a tough one. I took an XPEL class last month. It's good. Of course, some people who never laid film and they give a decent amount of startup tools. So that's good to hear. I've heard the XPEL class focused more on plotter systems. But I think their classes are just for XPEL dealers too. But that's interesting. Thanks for that. Why isn't this starting up? GoPro, did you decide to not work anymore? That would be a bummer. Seriously, what the heck? Oh, there we go. We just unplug it and plug it back in. And then it's like, oh, hey, haha, about that. I guess I'm supposed to wake up. 4-door Cutlass Supreme back window, try that. Yeah, I'm good. No, thanks. Cutlass, Beretta, any of those. Yikes. Those are those cars that you still get asked about that are like, yeah, I'm good. What are you doing to this truck? So we're doing carbon. We're doing 15 on the front, and we're doing 5 over the factory on the rear. This is a repeat client from summertime. I believe we did his truck live last time. Okay, let's see if we can get this. Oh my God, it works. No drop frames. I bumped my internet up too. Wow, and it's holding. It's like summertime outside. It is a whole 50 degrees. You walk outside and you're like, actually it's like 45. You walk outside and you're like, whoo, this is cozy again. It doesn't hurt. We're so spoiled here. When do you stop filling a tint keg? Yeah, a lot of times I would do that, exactly. Wait for the air release to pop. If you have something to measure it, like if you have like a gauge hooked up to it, I don't know. Anywhere from like 65 and up is good. So today, I had a little extra time, so I just let it hit like 105. So we'll play around with that, just trying a little more pressure again. I was just kind of impatient, so for the last forever, I was running like 65, and then 80, and now 105. I don't know. But yeah, you can wait till the pressure release pops, because that'll go far before the whole thing explodes. That's what they're there for. And it's going to freeze. Yeah. That's no fun. It's like, it's going to go from, I don't know, 50 back down to like freezing temperatures. So I bet that means it's going to get real windy here very soon. That always happens. It's like warms up sometime in the wintertime, and then you're like, oh, this is nice. I miss this weather. And then all of a sudden it gets incredibly windy and like a cold front blows in. You're like, oh, this again. But it's supposed to like rain too, so that's great. It's supposed to like snowy rain and then get freezing, and then we're all gonna be icicles again. Did I not open this? I hope we get some snow in California. Yeah, for a couple days it's great. I actually have really enjoyed driving around in the minivan in the snow. That thing is just a tank in snow. Congrats on 100. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. It's been like... Here, I'm going to start. GoPro. Check. Check, check. Okay. Okay, we're good. I had a thing flipped, so we should be good now. Yeah, that would have been really bad. Package will be delivered. Oh, that's nice. So this thing, this is a 2500 Silverado Z71 Duramax. This is just a beast of a truck. They're very straightforward though, because as far as I know, the windows are exactly the same. It's just taller. It's just a beefier truck. So 1500, 2500, 3500. Whenever you get anything like this, you're always happy. These are real straightforward. So we're doing all the sides and the rear, no windshield, which I'm surprised because we're going so dark on the sides, but he just doesn't want to do the windshield. So I want to spray off the sides real quick. I was going to do this beforehand. I have a longer hose coming in. I was going to do this beforehand, but I was starting so early that I figured I'd just like anything that I was going to do to set up today, I was just going to do on stream. So I actually just set up an extra hose. Well, I'm getting a longer one so I can actually reach around here because this is only a 50. But some people asked, do you ever rinse off stuff before you get started? No, but now that it's convenient, or now that it's actually convenient, I just need a longer hose. I'm going to do this more. The HD means that it's got a different cabin. But is the glass any different, though? I don't think the glass changes. It's all the same. And then we don't need to do anything on the back because we're going to cut that out on the inside. And we're going to boot my head. This is the... I love this. Where does the water go? It just sits under here and then gets old. Falling asleep water sounds. I have rain sounds that play every night. That was actually a good one. What if we, instead of rain sounds, we had truck water sounds? That sounds good. Why didn't they wash it? Oh, I don't care if they do. I mean, most people don't necessarily think that far, or they don't know. But it's never bothered me if they get their vehicle washed beforehand, because you're not tinting the doors. It's like one of those courtesy things that, you know, like, hey, I got it washed. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. But it's not going to make or break your job at all. They pay you to tint it. So taking a little time to make sure that it's nice is not a big deal. I gotta go this way. What's new? Are the window shapes new or something? They look the same. I mean, they changed with the model change, but it's been a handful of years now. My belt. I need my belt. And my knife. You're gonna put your YouTube plate in your shop? Yeah, I'm gonna hit every client that walks in the door with it. I'm gonna be like, do you know how many subscribers I have? Yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna put it. Somewhere in here, yeah. I convinced 100,000 people to click a button. Yay! All right. This market's been funny. There's been more and more people where I've tinted their vehicles, and then they're calling me again to tint another vehicle because they then sold the other one. They're like, yeah, that one was a new one, and then I sold it because I got more money, and then I got a new one again. And it's like, okay, awesome. Did YouTube say if they sent one? Oh, I guess there's like a form or something I have to fill out. I gotta look that up. I meant to do it yesterday, but I got distracted. My son kept us up till like 1 a.m. I don't know. Some weeks he's fine, and then all of a sudden he'll want to do something else the next week. So right now he doesn't want to go to sleep, but then he'll start getting fussy. How deep do you push it? Oh, I just cover the gasket part. The farther that you go into the seals, the harder it's going to be to remove. So I pretty much just wrap it around the exposed part. That's all. On something like this, I don't even know if it's going to make any difference, but I think I got to get more. I think this is my last roll. Been going through quite a bit. Imagine that when you completely frame out a window. Especially on these big old things. So, what I do, I just hack off some big pieces. And then see, the seal, this one, I don't know. It just goes in a fair amount. Just sneak that in there, cover it up. Some of them you can feel where it ends. Yeah, right here. About 3/4 of an inch or something. But it really does make a difference. I like it. It's one less thing to worry about. I don't like the extra time, but, you know, when you have the extra time, then it's not a big deal. If I was doing this mobile, I don't know. If I was newer, sure, but tinting for a while. I didn't tape seals for I didn't tape seals ever. It's harder to apply. Well, when you practice doing it, it's not that bad. But that's why I do shorter strips rather than just one big strip. Because I was sitting here with a giant strip trying to place it in and it stick to like the middle curved part. But now I just do overlapping ones and then pull from the top and the whole thing comes out in one piece. So it just makes it more convenient and faster. Believe it or not, I don't like doing things that waste too much time. So now on stream, things take a lot longer than they used to. But without all that stream stuff, truck like this, inside of an hour to like an hour 30 is what I would average for something like this. Congrats on the 100K. Thank you. Russian hackers. Yeah, spam bots are getting creative. That doesn't do anything though. It's just weird. We're a big deal now. We're 100,000 subscribers now. Everything's different. Not really. It helps keep dirt when you're two-staging. It just helps it out all the time. Two-staging, bottom loading, whatever you're doing. Wiping seals, cleaning some extra stuff. It's one extra thing that you can do. Use some stream mods. See, I took a long time to add people for the Facebook group. As for the channel, it's like it happens a little bit, but it hasn't been bad. I wish there was a way to make a low-key mod, like somebody that doesn't have a big mod badge next to their name, because I don't want to like change the chat at all. I feel like it would a little bit. Is that a super? Oh my god. There it is. It's a big boy.
Swallow Gang super chatted $4.99. Congrats
Swallow
for
Gang.
the 100K.
Thanks, man. Yo, what the heck? It's not gonna let me walk away. That deserves the fog machine. There we go. There we go. Aye. Thank you. Just scheduled a guy for a 2009 Civic removal and retint. Tax season has begun. That's very much a tax season thing, yeah. Not looking forward. hold of. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. I think that's gonna be low. Fuck. I didn't see the inside piece. I'm pretty sure one of these is gonna be low. But we'll keep going. Because we cut the bottom already, so there's nothing that we can really do about the top. It's low right here, though. This is such a tall... This window goes a lot higher inside the frame, so I'm pretty sure I gotta recut it. One of these pieces. Maybe not. We'll see. Hey!
DW Tinting super chatted $5. I'm just here for the fog. Congrats on 100K.
Oh my god, I put too much soap. DW. Thank you. I put like a lot of soap. Put a lot of soap in my bottle. And then I realized that this is C2. And then I'm like, well, that's probably too much. And now it's getting me. All right. Hey! I think I gotta open something.
Swalligang super chatted $4.99. Eee.
So DW with the 5. I'm just here for the fog. Congrats on the 100. Thank you, sir. And then Swole Gang with another 5. So both of you guys. Thank you. I forgot to open the thing. That makes it so it's less button pushing. Well, I like to add more soap than not. Oh my god. Fuck me. This is just mean. Look what I did. Look what I did to myself here. So this is basically just taller, but my blade swooped down a little bit. And now my window is too short. So mad. This piece is going in the garbage. Unless I really want to save it. So I have one good pattern here. I'm so sad. I said that though. So the thing about double cutting is it's real easy to see one of the patterns but not the other one. So always make sure your edges are over. So this guy's no good. What side is this? Yikes. Sad. So that's on the passenger side. I know I could save it for the back. But we're gonna go to the plotter for that, so. Oh well. Good news is it's the passenger side, so this will be really easy. But I always hate when that happens. It doesn't happen very often. But when it does. I made sure that this was overlapped, but I'm too short, man. I'm not as tall as the truck is. It's throwing me off. All right, so let's fix this. Same thing, slide it over, go up here. You've got a fair amount of room on this whole window. Like they're not tight. They're not super deep. But these are all around pretty standard, nice, easy Chevy windows here. We also got to remember that we, excuse me, we also got to remember that we did this sideways, so I don't screw up my shrinking either. So you don't really have to shrink them much. Or some people are going to say at all. But I don't care, we're going to do it anyways. Hey, look at that. That's what you want. There we go. All right, let me cut the other side, and then we'll put this on the board. $5.9. Very average height. That was not straight. That's better. What's that? Oh. I'm 5'7". Want to know if I'll be as good as you? Yeah, height doesn't matter. It'll just make some things more annoying. Because there's those little like stretches that you have to do over the windshield and over the back window. And when you can't, that's when it really sucks. Being too tall is kind of a funny thing too. Because then back seats and headliners get in the way. But you can look over and see things easier than me. What would you, I know you don't usually do removals. I still price them. What would you charge? I charge $100 for the removal, and then, I don't know, $130 to $150 to do the back window. But the removal price, on a lot of phone calls that I get, the removal price often will just kind of deter people from coming here. It's usually a bit more than they want to spend. Oh, I'm thinking standard. Carbon, definitely, it's got to be $150. And that's usually a little discounted, honestly. But I'll be a little sympathetic with some of those things. So, you know, if it's a pretty standard removal, being a little bit more generous on the like retint price or whatever, because like as a whole, if you're getting $250 just to like strip and redo a back window, oh my god, it's not bad. Hey.
Nick Doolan super chatted $9.99. Finally shrink my first back window for my girlfriend's 2014 cruise. It went so smooth with a more quality film and patience. Also heat gun on low works best for me.
Canon.
I really cannot thank you enough.
Nick Doolin with the 10. Finally shook my first back window for my girlfriend's 2014 cruise. It went so smooth with a more quality film and patience. Also, heat gun on low works best for me. I really cannot thank you enough. Oh, that's awesome to hear. Congrats, man. That's nice to know about the low heat, because I don't recommend that ever. I always say higher heat, but it's nice to know that it worked for you. So it's something I can keep in mind for future. What film did you end up using? What were you using before, and what are you using? What did you use now? First back window, it went so smooth with a more quality film and patient. Or was that only the film? Did I misunderstand? That was the first time ever you shrunk a back window? Because that's kind of what it sounded like. But then it also sounded like you used something else in the beginning. I like asking. Thank you for the 10. Do I have to order more 15? Have we used that much? I thought I had another one. Oh, nice. Oh, that's good to hear. I was using Solar Free, which I've been asked about here and there. I've heard of it. And I switched to Solar Effects. That's what I'm telling you guys. That's cool. Thank you for the 10. Film choice matters. And maybe I make things too confusing by saying there's lots of good shrinking films. And I should just whittle it down to like get these films instead, but I don't want to be too biased, but genuinely, there's films that are much easier to shrink. Just because it's a more expensive film doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but on some of these economy films, especially when you go into the carbon and ceramic category, you're going to have some headaches. And when you don't know how to shrink, or you're very new, that's where you're going to see them. If you've been tinting for a while and you pull into a more economy film, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more time consuming, but you can still do it. So it's like, I don't know. Those films will check all these boxes, like, oh, see, it's carbon, and oh, it's this, and oh, it's that. But with price, there's always trade-off. Always. That is going to be dark. So this is 15 on the front, and then 5 on the back. Right now we're at double 5. But we're going to split it. I think you have too much soap when you can smell it. And after you've been tinting for a while, you don't smell your soap anymore. But if you've been tinting for a while and then you can smell your soap, I think you've probably put in too much soap. So I can smell it right now. There's so many good shrinking films, but how do they look and how long do they last? Yep, that's a big thing. Like, oh, what films have you used? Oh, I've used a ton of stuff. So the very first film that I was introduced to was Lumar, and that was just my dad's company. They went out. They were doing tint at the time, but they didn't know about different tints. So they went out to SEMA one year, and then they went to like a Lumar booth, and that's where they were first introduced into other films. And then some of those companies were real ambitious at the time. So they would send, and they still send reps around, but like some of the reps were like really good salespeople too, and they would do crazy stuff. So they would like, one of the reps literally hung out at the shop for a day and sold upgrade film for the shop for the day. And just like, yeah, this is how you do it. Oh, well, then it's a no-brainer, right? They literally just showed me how to make more money with the service I already offer using this film. So, of course, I'm going to jump on board. But Lumar was the first one. And then we've had, like, lots of samples sent out to the shop, too. So, like, I played around with a little bit of, like, Suntech, Global, God, any number of like random off-brand companies would send us samples too. Then when I did mobile, ASWF, Avery, all right. If I think of some other ones, I'll let you know. I've used a lot more than that, but never. It was always like whatever we were using at the time. Scorpion, I used it for an extended period of time. Flex, used that for an extended period of time. Helios, when it was newer. What else did we use? Let's see, we did Max Pro. Random Amazon and eBay films, obviously. When we were checking out samples and other companies, we got quite a few. So we got Global. I wonder if I should just do that on both sides. At the time, so we had this big catastrophic failure with ASWF. It was a month straight of nothing but redos and pain. Real unfortunate. So at the time, we were like, all right, well, we have to switch films, but what do we switch to? So then we got samples from like everybody. We got like, and we put it on a big board with frosted film on the back. So we could see color, and then we had everybody's price sheets. And so we were doing like wholesale mobile tint. And we were trying to figure out which direction that we wanted to go. And of all the films that we put on the board, we liked Avery the best. But we had like all the staple, color stable films were up there. Solar Guard, Suntech, Global, like anything that we felt was a good match for like price, and we're mostly concerned about just one film, not their whole spectrum of films. But everything had a catch to it. So we ended up settling on Avery. And it was an NR Pro, which was Sigma Pro at the time. And then Avery bought them. And then came out with NR, which I still like. Have you seen that video of the film from that one guy dodging them because of bad shit film? I don't, maybe. I'd be interested to see it. Sounds funny. I remember watching this one guy. This one guy that was interviewed on another YouTube channel, like how to be a window tinter, and the guy was like, "First you gotta go to AutoZone," but seemed pretty serious about it. You seen that? Have you used ProTech? No. ProTech sounds like a small Reeboks. Kavica? No. Kavica was newer. Kavica was, oh, son of a bitch. I got that way backwards. I'm glad I see that now. I hope it's on the right side. Squared windows are annoying to me. Oh, I think I got these reversed. Yep, I got them reversed. This is definitely not for this side. I hate square windows. They confuse the hell out of me. Here, I'm going to shrink it, and then I'll flip it to the other side. My text-to-speech says Kavica. So that's, I don't know. It keeps saying it. So like Kavacha. 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 Why would you do that? Why make a film? Why name your product something that is confusing to pronounce? If a customer can't look at that and pronounce it in like a second, I don't care how interesting, cool it sounds, just change it. It's too confusing. You can't search. You don't know what it is. Kabacha. Kavacha. I don't like it. I don't like that name at all. See, even like mispronunciations and spellings when you're trying to search something, like when shops don't spell their names right. they like want a particular name, but that name is taken. Then you got a problem for sure. Oh yeah, this is wonky. All right, cool. Let's put this over on the other side. If text-to-speech can't pronounce it, then rename it. Xspell is fine. Is funny on text-to-speech. That's probably an exception. I think the name is great. Or cool, like it's edgy and easy enough. You can search EXPEL and probably still find it okay, but that's not necessarily easy to do in the beginning, but they've been around for a long time. Geoshield. Geoshield is all right. I think the name is fine. Probably not my first choice, but they've been around for a long time too. I like where they're going with their newer names, though. Like C2, Apex. I like those a lot more. Pro Nano, Pro Classic. Not as fond of those names. Did you catch the tool talk yesterday? I didn't. 2 hours. 2 hours of squeegee talk? Nice. Sounds like a good time. All right. Where did I put some tools? Helios is good. Yep. I remember talking to Rick when he was coming up with that name. And he told me about that one. He had a bunch of other ideas too. Like we've talked about naming things a lot. And it always drives us, it gets exhausting trying to come up with a name for anything. So there's a lot of things that are pretty self-explanatory. But a film brand is one of those things that should be kind of unique and more stylish, I guess. I like Helios. I think it's a good name. And then they have their little play on words with like orbit and stuff. And supernova. It's good. Gave away a full 5.5-inch set of turbo squeegees. Ooh, dang. Those are not cheap either. Wonder how it's shipped. I gotta talk to him about his shipping. Because they still have, it's a permanent thing, right? They do free UPS shipping on all orders, which is very, very unheard of. Where can I watch it? Over on their Sun Distributing YouTube channel. $50 minimum? Aww. Aww. It depends on what the order, what people typically do. Because if you're shipping just a squeegee blade, you're losing money. If you're shipping a handful of items up to like $50, then you're starting to break even, probably. There's always, like, there's no magic here. There's always a fixed cost to shipping. When you ship more volume, you get better rates, but it's still significant. But it's kind of annoying. Yeah. Too many orders of just a squeegee or just a hard card. Yeah. I talked to him about that a little bit. So what you hope is all the bigger orders are going to offset the smaller ones. Don't ask me how a company like AliExpress can do free shipping on small items from China. No idea.
Devon Mistakes super chatted $4.99. Thoughts on Avery Dennison NR Pro? I use Geo currently but ran out. I just do it as a hobby for friends/family. Sun sale making it tempting to switch.
Why not order more Geo? Thank you. Thank you for the super. So, any thoughts on Avery NR Pro? I would get the NR instead of the NR Pro. But, good film. At the time, the NR Pro, it's like a dyed carbon hybrid. So I'd imagine that's still the case. The problem is their process for it wasn't super great. So their carbon had a little bit of haze, so that's why they even added dye to it in the first place, I think. So it's a mix of the two. So all carbon, you'll get 50%, depending on what shade you go with. So there we go. I'll save like 150 ordering the same amount of film. I don't think it's worth it. I just go with the NR. Then you'll save even more, and then, in my opinion, you'll get a better film. Thank you for the super, so I know that was probably a mouthful. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Avery went up 20%. Yikes. Everything went up. Geo went up too. They added I love how Burns talks to me about film though. Cuz he's like, it went up 5 cents, and I was like, wow, that's not much at all. He's like, no, that's significant. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, 5 cents a square foot. I'm like, oh, you always talk in square feet. I forget about that. But there's no way around it. The manufacturers, like, supplies have gone up, or materials have gone up, shipping's gone up exponentially. International shipping is just a complete cluster. Containers getting stuck at the docks literally for months on end, and it just keeps piling up. They cannot offload container ships fast enough. They just don't have people to do it, and logistic problems. I don't know what the hell happened, but everything is just a complete nightmare. Everything manufacturing is just a nightmare. It doesn't matter what it was. To put some more perspective on it, it's like little things that you don't even think about. Trying to buy paper for boxes is a problem. And boxes are actually expensive and heavy. Boxes alone can add like $15 to the cost of a roll of film. Oh, the flame. So just helps dry it a little faster. I'll sit there with a heat gun for a little while, and then I've just been picking up a torch just to like cook the window a little faster. Oh yeah. Oh, that's that. I was like, what is that click sound? It's a little conduit just brushing up against the truck. So yeah, don't make the switch to Avery based on the sale of my recommendation. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it enough to switch to it. I think if you're only, so out of those, if you're only looking to like install one film and you want to go with Avery, just install NR. Then you'll save more money doing it. But I wouldn't do it with that NR Pro. Yeah, and I put a lot of soap in this one too, so slip sliding a little bit. I was doing a retint and using a 24-inch roll. Just meter the other side instead of put it on. Roll says 20% on the inside. I mean, meter says 5. I was pissed. Oh, that's no good. Mismarked roll of film. Yeah, that would have taken me a second to catch anyways. What film? Don't we have to switch these? Did we do that? Did we switch these or did we still not switch these? Oh wait, we did switch these. Yeah. Yeah, let's shrink that one out. I find my shop dead when it's snowy. And when there's no snow, I'm packed. Yeah, weather definitely plays some into business. It's very much seasonal. You'll still get business in the wintertime, but you know. It's just how it goes. Even in southern states, it'll slow down in the wintertime when there's no snow. Like, a lot less snow in Florida, right? But it'll still slow down there from what I hear. People think about tint when it's nice out. It's, you know, I'd be the same way. I don't want to go out when it's cold. Then when it's nice, sure. But what is nice is when you have an all-wheel drive vehicle and then it snows and there's not very many people on the road. And then you drive in it and you're like, what snow? So soapy. I don't feel like changing out my tank though. They're so. Ugh. I gotta dump it out, rinse it out, and then add the normal amount of soap. I could guess with like half the amount of soap, I'd probably be okay. Oh, that's a little low. Hopefully we put these on the right side. I'm pretty sure they were opposite. We shrunk them the right way, though, so we know they're supposed to be oriented this way. Looks like we're doing good. Five-hour energy bottle. You know, I have a measuring thing. I just don't. I gotta leave it over by the sink now. I was not using it for a while because I just wouldn't clean it out. I have a sink now, so I dump all the water into like a drain. So I mean, that's sticky. It's working. I guess we can do this anyways. Nice. New drying process. When it's really cold and it's convenient. I can spend a little longer with a heat gun, or I can just cook it a little bit with a torch. It's just been doing it a little bit more. Not shrinking back windows with it though. That was a big one. Cool. Yeah, see this one? %, heat reduction. It's like an igloo. So, you can still tint with plenty of soap. I would rather have more soap than not enough soap, because you can still get it in place and it'll slide around, and then it's just waiting for it to calm down. Stick to the glass, because it will. It'll stick. It just takes longer. If you get a finger, it'll be a little harder to press out. That's about it. So, somebody asked, why don't you just dilute the tank? I can. I don't exactly know how much to dilute it by, because there's a lot of soap, so I'd probably like start with half and then try it. But every time I open up that tank, I gotta add air pressure back to it. I just don't feel like it. That's all. I'd rather suffer. I'd rather suffer through everything. And spend the 5 minutes to fix it. But it's fine. It's fine. We got 2 more doors and we got a backlast. God, trucks are so much faster. Nice. This is a big old truck. Faster. Well, then we wouldn't have as much fun, right? Cannon. What's DME doing? Oh, it's going back up. How about that? That's interesting. You ever eat that banana? I just remembered there's a banana in the toolbox. No. Shit. Hang on. Oh no! We have an old banana now. Goal! It'd be good for like a muffin. Chocolate chip banana muffins. That's what happens when I bring food here. So I forgot to... This happens like every time. So I get here in the morning and it's food for later. But then I stream and then I get distracted and I just forgot it was there. So then I didn't eat it and I'm like, oh, I'll leave it and I'll eat it the next day. Well, same thing happened. And then a week goes by and, oh, there's a banana. No windshield today. Everything but the windshield. That's also why I'm not changing my water. I got 2 more doors, back glass, and I'd actually like it soapier for the windshield anyways. That was just fine. We'll just leave it. We're fine. I gotta remember to order some more film. I guess I gotta order 15. I thought I had more 15, but maybe I don't. Gotta order 15 carbon, 20 pro classic. And then, I don't know. Probably some short rolls. Nice. That is very nice. Have you considered putting a glass board on the side? Yeah, it just sounds like extra work right now, though. Need to bring in Orbit, needs to do the 3 film lines. Do it! Get like half rolls. It makes a difference. It really does. Tint Depot does. They do have... Tint Depot has reasonable practice film. They do. I'm not recommending Lexan anymore. This shit's rubbery. But you guys don't know until you've tried some other stuff. And that is what a lot of people miss. You need things to compare it to. Okay. So there's Lexan was what I was looking to get. Yeah, for one big reason, it's cheap. It's carbon, lifetime warranty, and cheap, right? It's all the things. Comes at a cost. It's not as clear and doesn't shrink as well. You gotta move up into some more expensive films. If it was, see, the thing is, I'm not against cheap ways to get into tinting. Like, tinting's not an expensive thing to get into anyways. What drives me crazy is getting a horrible impression so early on. It's hard enough to learn, and when you're trying to save as much money as you can on learning, well, it comes at a cost in different things, so it's just not as easy to work with. But it goes deeper than that. There's cheap films to still use. It's just not that one. Go to Tint Depot instead. Look at a 1.5 mil dyed film to practice with. Maybe if you learn with cheap film, it'd be better than quality film. That is a way to look at it. But why wouldn't you want it to... Why would you try and handicap yourself so much in the beginning? You got enough stuff to learn, and it's going to be frustrating. Not even saying to spend more money. Spend it somewhere else. You know, I actually had a phone call yesterday. I didn't really understand this part of it so much, but he was like, in the wintertime, it's hard for me to shrink. In the summertime, I can shrink. And he said, what film are you using? And he said, Lexan. I was like, they're carbon? He said, yeah, just their regular carbon. I was like, try something a little bit better. And then let me know how it goes. That's why it bugs me so much, too. It's like, I watch your videos, but then when I go to try to do it, it just doesn't do the thing. It's like, yeah, you're not using the same thing. It's going to be different. Like, do I need to use a hairdryer? Do I need to, or can I use a hairdryer? Or do I need to shrink the windows to install them? It's like, I'm not doing all these extra things just to do them. I want to make my life as easy as possible, too. So, comes at a little bit of an expense. But I could take the road. I could take the very generic road and say, yeah, just get any film. Oh, you just need to practice more. You know, they've emailed me like 5 times lately. I have like 5 emails from Lexan, and I still have to get back to them. They want to sponsor the channel, but I don't think it's a good fit. I actually think it's a great fit with who they're targeting. I think if I started recommending them, a lot more of you guys would start buying them. But I don't think it's a good route, so that's why I haven't entertained that. I didn't even know what to say because I don't want to be like mean or hurt their feelings or anything. And there's a lot of people in the group that'll still cheer him on. So like, I don't know. What's that? Can you... Helios Avery 20% off right now? What? Why? I thought their prices went up by 20. Why are they discounting them by 20? It doesn't make sense. Well, on the one hand, you have people that are genuinely happy with it, that talk it up a lot, and say that it's great for the price, and have used it long term and like it. So I don't think it's a great route to go. I'm gonna have to call him. Sun Distributing is discounting 20 until the price change goes into effect. Damn. That's crazy. Well, there's always real people behind this all. Yeah, there's honest. Yeah. Yeah. I'm annoyed too, because there's like, I mean, there's not a lot of opportunities to work with companies in the window film space, so it's really nice to actually see another company interested. But it's not. I know I'm not going to do it, but I don't want to discourage it either, but yeah, it's not a great fit. How do you deal with top edges on trucks? Honestly, get a step stool. That way you're on the same level as any other car. So you want to make it as easy on yourself as you can. So just getting a little step stool, cut out the top edge, and just accept being shorter. I'll reach up there and struggle like I did with this one a little bit. I just get a step stool. Little milk crate, anything that gives you an extra 6 inches. I see you hit. Yeah, Nick. I hit 100,000. I'm a big time YouTuber now. Woo! Everything changes. No, actually it's not. It's all the same. But yeah, it's cool. I'm really happy about it. I was watching it slowly climb up, and over the past like couple of days it's been really annoying because it like pops up by like 3 or 4, and then it would like slump back down, and getting to like 100 was like the weirdest thing. But I woke up like at 2 in the morning, there was like 5 left, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna miss it. And then I woke up and I was 1 subscriber away, and I was like, I get to see it happen. And then we all went, yay! And then I had to go to work. It is the only YouTube recognition that I'm ever going to get. Then we can do a live unboxing of the plaque on stream, and because you guys have never seen any of those before. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I think I want to put it up in the showroom. Like, because part of me wants to, like, hang it up here on the wall, but you already know. But then people that walk into the shop that don't realize that I stream here, maybe they'll take a double glance at it and be like, oh. Or maybe they won't care. But it'll be somewhere in here. Maybe we'll put it by the coffee machine. Yeah, there you go. Hang it on a chain around your neck while you work. That sounds like a good idea. Then I can really, like, slam in people's face. Did you see the plaque? You're getting a 100K tint job, yo. I wish it was the older style, though. They changed the play buttons. They used to be like the little round ones. I miss those. I wish it was that, but it's not. They do a lot of those. There's like 300,000 channels with 100,000 subscribers. Did you ever get the dash cams? Yeah, I have like 10 of them, and they're sitting. I need to do something about it. I didn't think I'd get that many, but a lot of them were like, sure, we'll send one out. Oh, damn. See, I know if I posted another dash cam video, I'd have to, like... I don't think I could get the second one to do as good as the first one. It was the title. The title of the thumbnail that really played into it. So, what I did think of, though, was doing, like, a dash cam Game of Thrones type thing, where I genuinely want to put a dash cam in the minivan. So looking at all the different styles and then figuring out which one I like the best. Because there's pros and cons to all of them as far as like style. Dash cams through tinted windows. Actually a good idea. That question comes up from time to time. Not a ton. That's a smart video, though. You know, I don't think about that enough. I keep forgetting about the consumer side of things way too much. All right. So, carbon. We need to throw this on the machine. Oh. That's a good question. So when you're shrinking a back window, how far over do you shrink? Usually about halfway. Oh yeah, there's that roller. So we want to do this, move this one over. Wait, which roller? No, we gotta use that roller. Is that why it goes sideways? So we'll put that one back over there. Move this one over this way. This is... I hate this. It's a good machine, but it's just... I wish the rollers were in different spots, that's all. Move. So then we set orientation right about there. Cool. 57. That's a good amount. Canon. Hooah! Like how you video these, seeing it from your angle helps so much. I'm glad to hear that. We're about to cut some film. Okay, so when you're doing an H pattern, or sorry, when you're shrinking a window, you have your H pattern set up. There's an update. Remote screen. What? Hang on. New features. Add option under the help menu for remote screen control. Improvements. Improved performance. Huh. Okay. Sure. We'll just... Hopefully this doesn't brick my software, but we'll update it. Why not? So what you'll notice, like I'll typically go about halfway over. You don't want to go much farther than that, but you got to learn how to read the film. So when you're shrinking, what you're going to notice is, let me pull up a video and kind of explain what I'm looking for here. What's a good one? Where's my, like... Where's my back window? Pizza party.
Nick Maciega super chatted $2 toward your 100k pizza party.
Thank you. Nick with the 2, thank you. I appreciate that. This one's not a bad example of it. Okay, so H pattern. I keep saying H pattern. Basically, you tack it in the middle, and you're trying to divide it into quarters, essentially, is what you're trying to do. So when you're shrinking it, what you're looking for are the way air pockets and tension lines are kind of forming on this. So there's a lot of there's a lot of explanation going on. But right in that half, no, we want to do the charger one. Let me do the chart. Oh, wait, that one. Yeah, this one. This one's a little clearer. So down by the bottom, I go about halfway. But what you'll notice is if I can get my arm out of the way, that these right here, so these lines, the farther over you go and the more you kind of shrink this bunch here, you'll start to see these tension lines literally like swoop down across the window. So that's why I'll only pretty much do about half of it. Because if you keep going too far over, you need to like kind of get the other side up to speed. So like these right here, you see how there's this curve to it? I wish I could, there, right there. So see how there's this curve to it that's kind of bleeding over into this side of the window? Don't keep shrinking down here. Shrink up here, and what'll happen is it'll all start to even out. That's kind of what you're looking for in a back window. All right, what does the software do? Quit and install. Oh, that's a scary window. I always like when it brings up that. Hey, we have software. All right. It looks the same. SOS remote help. Oh, so they can actually log into here and help. That's cool. Options. Do they still have any other options? Pulling cut mode, pull on PPF, post feed length. Nest, updates, general. Okay. Tint. So this is a 22 Chevy. That means it's near the top. Silverado 2500. Stream separate. Streamception. Well, it's there for a reason. I would show you on this one, but I gotta literally prep a full windshield to show you, so it's easier to bring up a video example. Back window slider. Ooh, I gotta see if there's this little notch piece. These are wide. And then this one. Okay. So this is actually a 40. Oh my god. Can we please? Thank you. All right. GoPro. Oh, there is. Look at that. Look at that little guy. I'm not doing a windshield. Kia will be an easier one. What Kia is it? Kias are always a blessing to be able to tint. Oh, there looks like there's a lot of dog snot back here too. We're on a dog seat cover. You know, I kind of like these, but I didn't want to buy one. Maybe I should. Maybe I should ask him what one this is. So I was looking at, I have the towel covers for the front, and I was looking for like rear seat covers, and the only thing that I could find are dog seat covers. They don't have like the same towel stuff. But this hooks over the back seat. It would be pretty easy to put something like this in. You just loop it over the back, leave these a little bit looser. That'd be cool. Might do that. Oh, another thing. I actually wanted it to tuck back here a little bit, and these don't do that. That's another reason I didn't do that. Ding, 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 ding. Canon. Canon. Hello, Tint Studio. How can I help you? On a Cherokee, the front windows start at 100. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a few different film types to pick from. A dyed, a carbon, and a ceramic. So basically, the higher that you go in... Yeah, it started at 100. Fucking people, man, I swear. I hate talking to people sometimes. Okay, so where was I going? Okay, that's all done. We're all good. Let's cut this out. No, so what drives me crazy about talking to people is like, yo, I need 2 front windows tinted. How much? And I say it starts at 100. And he's like, what do you mean it starts at 100? It's like, yeah, I have different films. Like, you guys heard it. And then it's like I'm offensive. No, I just want the regular shit, man. Okay, it starts at 100. And, like, I'm annoying him, but he's the one that's calling me. You know, if I call a place and I'm wondering how much they charge for something and what their services are, that's just whatever they are is what they are. I'm not going to get angry at them doing their business a certain way. It's just, oh, okay, that's not what I'm looking for. I'll keep looking around. But like, to basically be completely offended when somebody is trying to explain a little bit about, like, yeah, making it easy, it starts at 100. What do you mean it starts at 100? Can I explain it? No, I don't want any of that. The fuck, man? Get fucked. It's what makes it annoying to be in a retail business. You want to end that with, yeah, it's no wonder you're calling around looking for something that you're not going to be able to find. I want to find a place that's going to get me in right now at the price that I want to get in at. And then when reality tells you something different, then you get mad at it. It's so dumb. '22 Civic Coupe in ceramic would be $650 for the full windshield. Without the windshield, it'd be $450. The stupid is as stupid does. Canon. Calling around for tint prices was a shock to me. Cost was almost more for the removal. The average price for removal was mid-grade. Tint was $600. A good ceramic put me over $800. Yep. So the thing is, the removals are so expensive because they're actually so much work than just getting a better film. If you brought in your vehicle completely new and clean, you'd save yourself quite a bit of money. There's way more labor in just trying to remove the old crappy film off your car because it's thin, it's brittle, it'll start to flake. Even if it holds together, it'll leave a lot of glue behind. So then we're sitting there literally scraping your windows and using defroster-safe stuff to try and remove it all. And so we could tint your car in a couple of hours, and then with the removal, that adds like sometimes 2 to 3 hours more on just the labor side of things, and it's way more difficult to try and do than just tinting your car. So, yeah, it sucks. I hate that we have to charge that, but that's just kind of how it is. And then when you're shopping around for ceramic, those rolls are much more expensive for everybody to buy. Like, it's just a much more premium product, so. The rolls are more expensive. At the end, it takes a similar amount of time to tint, which is nice for us. But like I said, the rolls are more expensive. It's just what you value as far as the technology goes. More ceramic, more heat rejection. These are uber flat windows. So this is going to go over to the other side. This is on the passenger side. And we are over on the passenger side. People like that call make me not want to ever answer the phone for anybody else. I don't want to just... I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to have to put phone calls on my computer and then add a voice changer to them. You guys can hear all that stuff. I almost put it on speaker. Hire me, I'll answer all the stupid. I'm gonna need a... I've just been pushing it off. I'm gonna need a shop hand for so much. Spare hand for videos, answering phones, cleaning stuff up, shipping orders, packing stuff. There's enough stuff to do that makes it make sense now. I just don't want to go through the hassle of hiring somebody. All right. These should fit, right? Heck yeah. Oh, they didn't know about these little cutouts here. That's okay, we'll fix them. Close enough. Sun Distributing. Do you pack all the orders? Me and my wife do. It hasn't been like a big problem, and especially in like the wintertime, it's much easier to handle everything. But come spring and summertime, and it's grown over last year already, so it's just gonna get real busy. So it makes a lot more sense to now bring them all here and have somebody take care of that. Then there's distributor orders that come in. Tint Depot just ordered a bunch more of everything, so I gotta pack all that up and ship it out. So it's stuff that can just be happening while I'm doing other stuff. Where last year, it's like when it was really busy, it made sense. But wintertime kind of fell off, so it didn't make as much sense anymore. And then now things build year over year. Now we're getting back to that cycle again. Yeah, these ones are plotter. All the door cutouts, those are hand cut. These ones are plotter cut. I wasn't going to ask for fear of showing that I don't know much, but since you said that, how many feet do you normally need to get for 2 cars? Yeah, so tint is often sold in 100-foot rolls. You can get, in some of the better films, you can get as little as like 50 feet, but it really depends on the supplier. Most film brands are geared to sell bulk to shops, so that's why you see a lot of 100-foot rolls. That's just kind of the standard. For a couple cars with no waste, probably about 12 feet. On like a 36-inch roll. Like 10 to 12 feet typically is totally fine. But there's usually going to be waste for a couple of cars. I just buy a 50-foot roll. What's the blue squeegee? It's the hybrid. Fusion hybrid. It's a hell of a squeegee blade. So this side doesn't have those cutouts. Maybe they have one with them, but they're sized all the same. So this truck has the same type of framing right on the top of the back window, like this metal slide, but they were nice and they spaced it right below by about 1/4 of an inch below this frame, where the Rams were like, no, screw you. So much easier on this one. Aw, so glad I came on this today. You guys helped me more than you can imagine. That's what we do. Thank you, people in chat, too. Yeah, I don't care how many beginner, new, repeat questions I get. There's always new people coming in and out. I missed out on the H pattern info. Did you ask the H pattern question and you weren't watching while I was explaining it? Please tell me no. Next time you use the plotter, can you explain the best way to weed the pattern? Yeah, that's real easy. I can go over that for you. So what a plotter does is cut the film. I did, but in between work. Okay, you can go back and watch it. I always find that funny. Sometimes you put a lot of effort into a question and it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't see it. And it's like, wait, what? It's free to ask. It's like sometimes free to book an appointment. Aw, that's a nice little cutout. That's actually good. Good job. Good job, film cut. All right, we can talk about a lot of plotter questions. Okay, we can talk about them a little bit.
Nick Doolan super chatted $4.99. What plotter software do you prefer and have found the least amount of issues with?
Nick Doolan. That's a loaded question. Unfortunately, I wish it was really straightforward, but it's not. I'm gonna have to then try and get some extra software, maybe. That's all done. That went in real nice. Where's my coffee? Canon. It is easier. When the patterns work, it is much, much easier. So, we're going to take a little trip to Plotter Depot. So the plotter that I have is called the Workhorse 1. It's now 1, but Workhorse. They shipped this one to me a little while ago, and I've been playing around with it. I have a full video on the channel that kind of tell you actually a lot of irritations with it, but at the end of the day, it does actually work really well. So $15.99. This is kind of the minimum I would suggest if you're buying a machine to cut window tint. Get yourself at least a plotter that can accommodate 40-inch wide rolls, because you're gonna do like you're gonna want to cut back windows out on a plotter, and so you can get a smaller machine for like $1,000 and only do doors and quarter windows. So if you specifically need it for quarter windows, this machine is okay, but you're already at 1100. You might as well spring a little bit extra and get something that'll make your life a world of difference. So this is kind of the minimum that I would look at as far as pricing. I mean, they do have one cheaper than this, from what I understand. They have the Eco Cut, which is a 53 for 1100. I haven't tried it, but do they have a stepper motor on here? Okay, this right here, reliable stepper motor. Stepper motors are really, really loud and kind of like jumpy. The regular workhorse plotter has what is called a, wow, I can't find anything. What are they called? Servo motor. So this is a much quieter motor, a little bit more precise, and the real cheap plotters are going to be, it sounds like an old printer, like the, that's a stepper motor. Servo motor is very, very quiet, more precise, and when you're cutting out window tint, you want everything to be nice and smooth because the motor head's going to be going back and forth as it's rolling the film up and down. So you want that for really smooth cuts. So I wouldn't go any cheaper than something like this, honestly. It's good enough to do the job. There's a lot of people that are saying the Workhorse 2 is pretty solid. I have one over there that I have to unbox and then get into that and see. Yeah, like $2,000. Really not a big bump up from the other one. So that's the machine that I'm using. As for software, I'm using Film Cut. They do have Film Cut Pro on this site too. There we go. So Film Cut Pro also has vinyl, and you gotta basically sign up for an entire year. You can't really try this stuff out month to month. It requires like a full year commitment, where the Film Cut you can use month to month. It's still kind of a basic software. That's not to say the patterns are bad. That's to say the software itself is limited right now. So you can see I can rotate patterns around. Oops, we clicked on a button. Hopefully that didn't. Okay. You can rotate patterns around. You can nest them and like move them around and whatever. Honestly, I expect every plotter software to be able to do this. It's got a ginormous catalog of vehicles in here too to pick from, and they seem to be up to date on a lot of them. From what I hear, Film Cut also does all their patterns in-house, which means that they'll cut them out on the car, they'll scan them, and then cut them out on the plotter and then see how they fit. So they will constantly adjust patterns and refine things. So if you see something that's not so great, this is, there's a good chance that they will be okay, but I wish you could resize them just a little bit. So I hear they're working on it, but it's not here yet. Up from there, I would probably, the only other thing that I can recommend, Computer Cut. Computer Cut. So this is going to run you about $250 a month from what I understand. Maybe a little bit different than that. Computer Cut is the longest running software. And I hear, I've used it. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. Not my favorite patterns in the world, but good enough for most cases. And they have a lot more flexibility on what you can do. So manipulating the patterns and stuff like that. You're really not going to do that much. It's nice to have just the resizing option. Like literally, if you want to make your pattern just like a little bigger, a little wider, a little smaller, having that flexibility, I think, is really important. Other than that, you're not going to like tweak your top edge. you're going to tell them to fix the pattern in the software. So Computer Cut is really the other one I can recommend. My favorite software was XPEL software, but that's locked under XPEL. So unless you're using their film, unless you're an authorized dealer, then you're not allowed to, or you can't use their software without being an XPEL dealer. And there's that with a few. So there's like TrueCut, Suntech. I think now it's Core. There's TrueCut, there's Core. They're also locked down to their respective brands. So you can't use something like this without actually carrying Suntech or actually carrying Lumar. It's getting really frustrating. Film and Vinyl Designs is another one. I wasn't a huge fan of their software. Same thing for Tint. Tint was another platform that I used for a while. Not a giant fan of their patterns either. There's so many little tweaks and stuff that you have to make that it just got annoying. So, Film Cut, $85 a month, or then go all out to Computer Cut. Those are my recommendations. You can try Film Cut for free for a month too, which is really nice. Plotter software. There you go. I use Computer Cut, no complaints here. They have Path Editor where you can fully modify patterns. Yep, they've been around the longest. I thought they were, so they're owned by SolarGuard, and for a long time I thought they were actually, I thought they were locked down to SolarGuard, so there's a lot of these companies that will actually let you use their software for like a year with no issues, and then after a year is up, they'll call you and be like, hey, so we noticed you not using our film. And then you'll very politely say, yeah, I love your software, though. The software's been working out great. And they'll be like, actually, you can't use that without using our film. So we're going to have to revoke your subscription. It's super dumb. So where's my... Wow. That was fun. Film and vinyl works well as long as you cut your top edge. See, I can respect that, but that drives me crazy too. If you want to do long patterns and then just go over and cut your top edge, then that's fine. To me, you're paying $150 a month for everything, and it should work most of the time. But I appreciate that honest opinion about it. That's how I felt. Like it was the biggest letdown. So for whatever reason, there were a lot of, with film and vinyl at the time, I don't know what the hell was going on. Every pattern seemed to do the opposite, where it was lower in the center and then it curved up at the edges. So every window, here's the thing, you don't know how annoying it's going to be until you get the film on the glass. Every time. So I load the film into the plotter, I go find the vehicle, I go find the pattern, I cut it, then I take it over to the plotter, and then I weed it. And then after that, I have to shrink it, and then I go to install it. And then it's not until I have the window clean and the film installed, that's when I don't know that pattern's going to work. So when people ask, like, why aren't you using plotters all the time? Because they drive me fucking crazy. You go through all that to see if the door's going to work or not. And when it doesn't, then you're hand cutting it anyway. So that's why I often will just hand cut everything and get a closer edge, because you're going to be able to get a closer edge just by hand cutting. So, but if you're in a higher production shop and you're doing just more work, that's where a plotter can become very handy. You're just not a lot of the times going to get as refined of cuts out of a plotter as you are hand cutting. But there are situations like with this back window where it made a lot of sense, because I've got nice big ceramic borders. I can move the pattern around like 1/4 of an inch in any direction and it'll still cover everything and look good. With the door window, it's got to be like 100% exact on the top and then a little bit looser on the sides, but sometimes you'll find that they're a little short on one edge or another, leave a gap, or just that top edge doesn't quite line. Like, they drive me crazy sometimes. Okay, so we'll go over weeding them too. I kind of skipped through it really fast. What's something that I can sacrifice without too much concern? I do the carbon again, but, you know, I think this is coming. Okay, we'll just do this. So we'll switch from a 24 or from a 40 to a 24. First thing, unlock, roll up my film, and then we can set that aside. Then we're going to take our film. We're going to make sure that the film side is facing up. And then you're going to load it into wherever most suits the rollers. So on Graphtex and Rollins, you have an extra wide roller here. On this one, we have a lot of little rollers scattered around. So I got to put a 24 here. You need one roller on one side, one roller on the other. So then we're going to slide this one over. Boom. There it is. Then we clamp this back down. So this is my lock. And a nice thing to do is also to get this to go straight. It's real simple. You can either let some film out farther past where you want to cut, put some tension on it, just a little forward tension, hold it here, and like curl it back. So you're getting that whole roll to like pull flat and straight. And then your film will go straight as long as your rollers are good. So, put it about there, lock it down. Now I gotta move my plotter head back over. On the more expensive machines, this will set up itself automatically. So you'd press a button and it'd go, and then it measure it and go, and then come back over and then it adjust the film a little bit and then give you a starting point right about there. So this roller and this roller are going to leave little marks in your film, so you got to cut inside that margin. And you want a little bit of wiggle room on that margin too, because if the film starts to off track a little bit, you're not wasting a bunch of film. Look at that wall. Matt loves plotters. I put the plotter there to cover up the holes. Those holes came with the shop. All right. Stop. So from there, you're going to go into your software. You're going to pick the film, the year, the car. A little thing about Film Cut that I genuinely like versus some other softwares, not all of them will have the year range. This is a little thing that is incredibly helpful. So on Tint Tech, for example, if you click on a 2020 GMC Sierra, right? It pulls up your patterns. Cool. Well, let's say there was a model change. Oh, look, see, 2022 to 2019. That's super helpful because when you have those year model changes, you forgot if something changed at 16 or 17 or 20 or 21. Those little differences there, this actually shows you what it'll cover. But so what you end up having to do is then go back into your year, click on 18, go back to the car, and then compare the 18 to the 19 or the 19 to the 20. So this is one of those things that I just kind of like, it's roughly this year. And then I can go to the truck, and then it'll give me all the ranges. It's super helpful. 22 to 20. So I know that's exactly when they changed over, which is great. So extended, crew, pickup. Sometimes there'll be a difference between them, so it's nice that they have that. There's a lot of times where all those windows are exactly the same. And then you scroll through, you figure out what window you want to cut out. So we want to cut out, I don't know, what do we want to cut out? Let's cut out a door. Let's make it matter. So my film is going to cut this direction. It's going to move towards this ruler. So if you want to manipulate something, if you're lining things up, the way that the film shrinks always matters. So it's good to know that the film is going to move in that direction. Then from there, you could fill space with extra patterns. But all we have to do now is click cut, and then it's going to cut. So this is a 24-inch wide roll. More expensive machines will do this automatically. But this one here doesn't, so you just have to manually input the roll size. And then as soon as I click this button and run over there, it's going to start cutting. So click that. And look, it's auto-magically cutting. How do you rotate them? You can rotate them 2 different ways in that software from what I know. You either click and hold on the pattern and use the scroll wheel, or you hit Alt and then the scroll wheel. I think those are the 2 ways to do it. Okay, so cut out my pattern. Somebody want to tell me where my knife went? Oh, shit. This is where this whole tutorial falls downhill. There it is. All right, cool. That was the last thing that I cut out. This is another little gripe about this machine. I think it's better in the Workhorse too. There's this little like groove here. And on some machines, they put it higher up. What you can do with this groove is use it as a guide. Because your film is here. So now we got to kick out the film past that groove, and then we can just real easy hack it off nice and straight. Boom, we got our pattern. So we're gonna grab a sprayer. You can cut these out one of 2 ways. You can either cut them out on a table, which is actually more preferred, or you can spray a board and cut it out on board. So for the sake of keeping things simple today, we'll just do it on the board. So remember, my film got etched, but it didn't cut through the liner. So a good calibrated machine will cut through all the film with no snags, and that's the sweet spot to keep your plotter in. So you can trim this a couple of different ways. You can either just go ahead and peel all the film and then cut out your liner, or a lot of times what I would do at shops is I'll cut the sides real slim. So whatever makes it easy to see. So I'll cut this all real slim on the sides. On the top and the bottom, I can be a little bit more generous. And the reason that I'm cutting it a little tighter on the sides is because we have to tuck all that material into the sides. So you can then take away your frame, throw it away, or save it for extra stuff. On a 24, it doesn't matter as much, but on a 36-inch wide roll, when you're cutting out 2 sets of doors and stuff, it's going to be a lot harder just to peel all the film away and then cut out your patterns. So that's why you're pretty much going to be cutting all the patterns separate and then peel off all the borders. So on the door windows, it should just be as easy as literally like, I have the film here, I separate it from the pattern. I usually just take my knife in that corner and just flick it up, and it'll start peeling away. And then as long as it's all, that's where it starts and finishes. Boom. It all came off nice and clean. And then I can take my pattern. And remember, this is for this truck too, but it's already tinted, so there's no point in trying to do it. From there, you have to put it on the glass, shrink it, and then install it. But that's how you weed a pattern. It's basically all plotter start to finish. So yeah, when they work really well. When they don't work well is when you have things that drive you crazy. The program they use at the shop, when you pull the extras, sometimes they don't pull all the way. You pull wrong. When you're weeding the patterns, it sticks. It's the machine itself needs to be, you need to either change out a blade and tune that. So there's a couple things. It's not software, it's the machine itself. So plotters are incredibly finicky to tune. You got a couple of major things here. So this is what goes up and down to cut the film. And there's a teeny tiny little blade here. And I can show you on a different holder, because I don't want to mess with that one. That's how annoying this stuff can be. God, I just had it. Did I push them back up here? Here it is. Okay. I bought the wrong ones. I thought these were going to be the right size. I just bought it off of the internet. Okay, so let me take out a blade holder for you guys. So this is a blade holder, and these are lots of cheesy little blades. And you'll go through a lot of these when you're cutting out vinyl. And you'll have one that'll last a lot longer for window tinting. So there's this really small, look at that. It's hard to get the focus, but see that little thing right there? So this magnetically sticks in there on this one, and then we adjust this. Push up the gold ring. Screw this down. Oh, no. We gotta move it back up a little bit. And what you're trying to do is lock it in place. You want to get this blade just barely poking out. So when it puts pressure down, when this kicks it down, it cuts into only the film. See that? It almost sticks a little bit. It's just teeny tiny little needle there. So that's going to drag around the film. The two things that'll really mess it up, actually a little bit more than that, is how far out the blade sticks, making sure that blade has not been dulled. Your cut strip here, so this is the surface that blade is then cutting on. So this whole strip, let's see if we can grab it. This whole strip can be changed. It's called a Teflon strip. You can buy new ones. You can pull this whole thing up, clean the glue, and then stick a new one down in case your film blade or the cut blade went through and just marred the whole strip, which that can definitely happen, and you're going to have to change that out. You want this to be as even and flat as possible. This is, like I said, it's an incredibly finicky thing. So you put out only a little bit of blade. You get it all set up, and then you have to go into your plotter settings here. Oops, I pushed the wrong button. You go into your settings here, and you have speed and force. So if I want to cut this faster, then I crank up the speed. If I want more pressure, then I have to change the force. So this was set at like 300, and that was a fine cutting speed. That was what you saw a little bit earlier. I've never tried 900. I kind of want to try it. Do we have extra film? Yeah, let's just try one on 900, as fast as it'll go. What's the worst that could happen, right? But the force is the thing that you're really going to have to play with in tandem with the blade that's coming out of that cutter. So those two things together, you're just going to make real small adjustments until it's cutting all your film out properly. But that being said, another thing that can go wrong is from one film to another. So if you're cutting out ceramic, that could be thicker, and so you have to have settings for your ceramic and usually a different cut head. and use one for ceramic, use one for carbon, or change some settings to get them all cutting out nice. All right, let's see. I'm just going to click cut, and we're going to see how fast it goes. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's fast. Oh, that was cool. Oh, I might leave it like that. I like that. I've never thought to... Well, I thought about it. I just forgot. I wonder if that cut out okay. It was definitely... I mean, it should be fine. All right, we'll see. We're just gonna peel the whole thing. So a little bit snagged there. See that? That corner, a little bit off. The rest of it was fine. So this little part where it got a little detached. So one thing I noticed, this whole thing was tracking off to the left a little bit, and it got bunched up a little bit there too. So there's some things about this machine that are just, it's good, but like I said, it's about as cheap as I would go on a machine before you probably really start feeling chintzy. It died, oh no! We'll pop another battery in it. Well, do you guys at least see it get weeded, or did it die right before that? Where did it die? Where's the anti-static string? I got a new Jaguar, but trying to figure out how to fix the static. I can show you on this one. I don't know on a Jag, though. We saw you weed it? Okay, good. Just as I was showing the fail. Okay, let me show you guys. All right. Okay. So right up here, I think this is more of a machine issue than this what happened with the speed. I noticed it started to track a little left, and whenever it starts going a little left and right, that's when the cuts don't line up quite as well, because it's not, I don't have it set up as a continuous. I have it set up on pull. So what it does is spit out the film and then drags it back and cuts one side, spits it out, and then cuts the other side, right? So that's where it goes back and forth a lot. So I've had a couple of small issues with this machine on tracking. So when it's spitting out film, sometimes it'll keep going to the left, and it's not a matter of just kicking it out and then starting my cutting and retracting it back in and stuff. It's just the roller is cockeyed a little bit or something. I don't know. But I guess when you push the speed, that might be what happens. For the most part, it worked great. Canon. What is the purpose of pull mode? Yeah, just like what I was saying. So I think it's a better way to cut out your film. When you are shoving the film forward and cutting it, and then pulling it back and cutting it, the thing is, the rollers are on the back of that cut, and it keeps the film flatter when it's pulling it all back in. When it's shoving it forward against where that cutter is, there's no rollers on the other side to help it along. So then the film starts to get a little bit bunched up. I think it's a better way to do it. I'm happy with cut on pull, but it means more time that it spits the film out and then retracts it back in and cuts it. Keeps everything flatter. Does Geoshield have a dark 20%? They have 15 in their C2 if you're interested in that. But as dark, the 20 meters at 20. How does it get attached to the machine? A lot of I've seen it brought up a lot. No surprises that static problems in wintertime, right? Let's take a look. So on this guy, magnets. On this one, I know it wasn't magnets. It's physically bolted in, but obviously with the Jag, they're going to be different. So this is just the anti-static thing right here. So they've got something that goes across the whole length. And I guess, I don't know. I never did anything to set this up. This looks like it's supposed to brush against the film, though. So maybe I'm supposed to move this somewhere. I don't know. But this is set here. This looks like it's supposed to pull static off of the roll. And then this is supposed to ground it. So I actually did set that up correctly when I first set this thing up. That's cool. Yeah, film static can be an issue. I remember with some films, you'll hear it just popping and snapping as it's rolling. Put it in front of the film for static, then into the plotter. What, am I supposed to scoot the film underneath it? That makes more sense. I don't feel like doing it, though. It's real dry here, and I don't have any static issues with it. It's been totally fine, thankfully. That has not been a problem with these films. But I know what that's like. I had that problem with the ASWF really bad. Their film was incredibly curly and staticky. It was like a wheel. Every little piece that you cut off, it would... Well, that was fun. Did you guys enjoy that? Lots of plotter info. But yeah, lots of questions about them. The hardest thing is when you first get a plotter, it's going to be fine-tuning it to make sure everything cuts nice and clean. And then after that, once you get it there, just don't touch it anymore. If you have other employees, make sure that you educate them very thoroughly on the plotter and to not mess with settings. Or if they do, they need to know how to fix it, because there were many times I would set up the plotter, I would leave for the day, I would have a day off, come back, and then somebody literally put an out of order sign on the plotter, and I'm just like, what'd you do? And he's like, it just wasn't working. And it's like, it was working great this whole week, and then I leave for one day, and then it's not working. You know, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're screwing it up. It means you go back to plotter class. Cutting out vinyl is no problem because you have a real thick backing sheet. Window tint, it's very thin plastic, so it's always harder. 21 Explorer front windows this weekend. Anything to look out for? No, those are pretty straightforward. The sides are a little tighter than they used to be, but that's all. Does the plotter have memory presets? This one, unfortunately, does not. It does remember the settings when you turn it off and back on, thankfully. So the only time you're going to want to turn it off and turn it back on, like you can just leave this thing on sitting all the time and it's fine. But when it's cutting film and then all of a sudden it falls off track, you need a quick way to stop it. So often I'll just go shut it off. But some of the better machines, some of the more expensive machines, presets is a very normal thing. So you can have the same blade and have it set up for basically a preset for carbon and a preset for ceramic. Because sometimes there'll be a difference between one film and the other. Sometimes you can get that plotter blade set up to cut through all your films, no problem. But sometimes you can't. So for the C2, It's a 1.5 mil. For the ceramic, it's a 2 mil. So every time that I go to cut it out, I don't have to change the blade, but I do have to up the pressure a little bit, and then I'll cut it out. Thinking about buying a plotter with a tax refund now. Now watching this, it's too much work. I'd rather do it hand custom unless I need to get them for the shop where they can cut it for me. It is work. So where a plotter is going to be your biggest help is when you have somebody else doing it. So either that, or when we have a truck back window, when we have quarter windows that are kind of irritating to do, they can save you some time. And when the patterns work out, they're great. But by and large, they're not going to speed you up much on a full car, especially when you have different films for the front and the back. So if I'm doing 20 on the front, 5 in the back, I put a 20% roll in there, cut out those patterns, then swap out the roll, recalibrate the plotter, do it again, then weed everything out, put the patterns up there, and then cross my fingers that it works out. And then I couldn't pay monthly. So it's definitely worth it if you're like a full-blown shop. $85 a month for plotter software is about as cheap as it gets right now. They are constantly adding new cars and new patterns, so you have to pay monthly to just have access to the whole database. It's the one way they can make it more of an economy thing rather than charge you $1,000 for like their whole database or whatever. I don't know what they would charge, but they still are constantly adding new cars and patterns and stuff, and that's always a lot of work. So it's got to be a monthly thing. So yeah, at the end of the day, you can cut out a car fine with a knife. You can do it in a very quick amount of time, and you can have a very efficient shop run completely off of hand cutting. That's why I haven't been doing a lot with plotters for a long time. But now that we have this one here, it's nice to at least show you guys the best of both worlds, where you would find this helpful and where it's not quite as helpful. So high production shops like at my dad's shop, yeah, we need that plotter going. We need somebody to go cut out patterns, pull in the next car, get them all set up. Then I'll go over, shrink, install the doors. Somebody will tackle the back window, and then we just bounce back and forth between cars all day. When that plotter goes down, that's no fun. That's no fun. Now it's costing us time, but we had the extra people and that whole system set up to keep things moving. But if you're just individually spending a fair amount of time per car, it's not going to save you much. It's really not going to save you much time on a car. If you got the extra budget, though, it will help you learn, but because it takes out some of the steps. But yeah, that's the whole dealie. That was fun. I didn't think this would be a big old conversation about plotters. So as you're building up your company, as you're pulling in more cars, what you'll find yourself lacking is time. And that machine, that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to help you save time. It's like hiring it's like hiring an extra set of hands to cut out all your cars for you. So as long as they can do that well, and you have somebody else that's doing that to get them all prepped, set up for you to do, then you can tint more cars. Teach us more about plotters. There isn't much more to say on that, but then you can get into like some more unique stuff. So you can get into graphics and lettering and some other special, like you can pull in some different types of work, because when you have that machine, now you have access to or you can have access to Universal. So what's Universal here? Oh, I didn't know they had. Oh, that's cool. So these are PPF patterns for the doors. So you can get into stuff like that, cutting out long strips of PPF. You can cut out, like you can get access to PPF software, and then you start adding services to your business. So just for window tint, it's still really, really helpful. But then you start looking into other things, like you can cut out graphics, vinyl. I mean, it's a vinyl cutter. That's what it's for. So you can get into all other types of stuff too. I realized I didn't show that. Look at these. You got door cups right there. That's cool. I need to do that. I don't think I have any PPF to do that with. And then they got these long strips for all the door edge guards. That's quick money. Yes, we are done with the truck, which means that we are going to have to shout some people out for some supers. Activity. All right, so big shout outs to all the super chats today. Nick with the 5, Nick Doolin, and then Nick Mediega with the 2 for the pizza party. Devin, Nick Doolin, Swole Gang, DW Tinting, Swole Gang. Thank you guys so much for the support and for all the congrats on the 100,000. We got there. We're a big YouTuber now, right? We need more fog. We can do more fog. Oh, it's broken. More fog. Hey! And just let it go. It only goes for like 5 seconds, maybe 9. Maybe a little long. See? And then it stops. It won't go forever. And then it needs to like warm back up. So, oh God. It's on fire. And then watch, I'll lose people after I go live. What are we on? Your channel. No, I have to go to studio here. 100,030. Nice. That's fun. I appreciate that a lot. That's a big one. Oh, I gotta see about getting my plaque. I gotta figure out how to do that. I think I gotta go to a website and then fill out some info and then I get it. Next stream will be tomorrow. Thank you. And then remember, we have 3-day classes coming up. So if you want to join a class, mytintstuff.com. You can get class info there. I just subbed yesterday. Then you were, but I've been watching for months. You pushed it over. You actually, it was literally yesterday that we crossed over. So it was because of you. Lobo Mo, he pushed us over into 100,000. I appreciate it. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock? Yeah, 10 o'clock. Yep. It's very early. Alrighty, dudes. I will see you later. You all have a good one. Orange Crush for Final Squeegee. I just use a hybrid for the whole thing. Bye. Oops. Not that one. This one.